Okay, I guess I'm on. I hope the mic is working. I got some stuff here. That is a hand line that's still fishing. If I want to go to the jetty and use that, I can. And here, you can see my hand size compared to that. So nobody's got the right to tell me how to fish as long as it's legal gear. This is a fishing rod I just got. It's an ultralight made of IM6 graphite. It's probably what they crush up and make old submarines out of. And here gives a description of what kind of fish you can expect to catch: panfish, crappie, and trout. Oh, geez. Crappies, trout, crappie, panfish. Now, for those of you who know, trout get pretty big. So this rod is capable of doing a whole lot. I tied this lure on with a snap on it. So right at the head of that, there's a little snap. That way, in case I want to change out or take it off and travel, I can do that. So a little breezy out here today. They're saying that we got a good chance of rain, and I brought my umbrella this time, and I brought some water with me. So I'm gonna make a few casts, and let's see how I get this set up. Ugh. How we get this set up. So that maniac at the beach, that lifeguard telling me, I mean, he was just bothering me. Plus, when he got the chance, he started to bother the other people there. Oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. It's not posted over there. It's not posted anywhere near there. And those are rules. Okay, rules. This, in order to cast this properly, you click this release, click, and it sends this into free spool, which most people don't like these because they tend to backlash. This has a magnetic adjustment in it that helps to not backlash. The line that I'm using, I believe, is 4-pound test Berkeley transition. So it's pretty invisible under the water. But fish will bite at anything. You've heard stories, oh, they opened up the fish and found this in it. That's right. Fish will bite anything. So as long as you got good knots, you should be in good shape. You should be. Now, hey, last night when I got the notification that Joe was going live, I had just gotten a call from the laundromat. I had dropped the shirt off that I needed. It was this shirt. This is the one I wore that day down at the beach where they harassed me. So she called me, and Joe went on at 7-something Eastern over here, and she had just called me, and I knew they were closing the laundromat down. So I ran over there, picked up my shirt, kept my phone in my hand in case I didn't make it back. I could, watch as I went. So, here, a little more about the ultralight stuff and noise. Uh, if you're using an ultralight rod, a faster retrieve is really good. That means you should have a reel that pulls the line in pretty quickly, because the rod is so flexible that you might not be able to set a hook properly unless you are able to make line up pretty rapidly. So I've adjusted. What I'll do, let's see if I can adjust this. Well, here we go. I'll adjust that so it's just barely slipping out. And I got my mags. And the reason it does that on its own is I converted all of this. The drags in this reel I redid with carbon fiber drags. This is a custom carbon graphite handle. These have ball bearings in them, so that this reel it's just super smooth. Uh, 6 ball bearings in this reel, and you see that the line looks like it changed color. I don't know if you could pick that up. That has to do with the line dressing I use. Line dressing helps the line slip through the guides, and I just put a couple drops on there. And it's this stuff that I use is also a UV protectant, so the sun's not chewing up your line. That does happen. Lines get old. It's plastic. Plastics break down from UVs. So you put a protectant on there, and that way you get a lot longer out of your line, and you're leaving less of a carbon footprint. So let's see if I can do this. I'm going to take it easy. Plunk. That's all right. I didn't backlash. Reel it in, reel it in. And, oh yeah, that's wiggling around nicely. Okay, so I got that set all the way up there. I'll take it down, loosen it up a little more, and I'll start looking for a little distance here. Boom, got a little more distance. That's how you take it. You take it slowly so that you don't backlash and turn your fishing trip into a nightmare and have the commander come up and tell you how to fish. You gotta fish on them rocks. Yeah, okay, Commander. Yeah, that's pretty good distance. Now, bait casters, this is a bait caster. They're pretty hard to work when you're fishing from the bank of fresh water, because usually the banks of fresh water, you have shrubs and bushes over you and on top of you. And the way you have to cast these is you go backwards with it. I know, this is just basics. No, I'm not Bill Dance. And you got to watch the tip of your rod so you don't wind up shearing it off and destroying your tackle. Okay, so I got a little more distance out of that and no backlash, so that's real cool. And the lures I use are plastic. They used to call them rubber. I mean, that's an old, using rubber worms. Now, okay, so I'll back it off another 2, make it just a little bit looser, and see if I snap this off. A little bit further. And you're not going to see anything jump out of the water here, an orca jump out and grab me and drag me in. I know a lot of people want to see that, but hate to disappoint you. So, and that's plenty far to cast. The further you cast, the more ground you cover, the more water you cover with a cast. That means it's probably going to be in front of a fish sooner or later. So, the further you cast, the longer you have it in front of a fish. I just backed that down another 2, and a lot more distance. And I think I just saw a little snapper flopping around over there. And with these soft plastic lures, snappers and bluefish destroy them. So you come out here with soft plastics, and the bluefish will just ruin every single one you throw out. They'll ruin. So it tends to get expensive. When you're fishing for bluefish. Breaking stuff off, chewing lures to pieces. It tends to get expensive, and I'm not particularly into the bluefish. Do they fight? Yeah, they are incredible fighting fish. It's like some people say carp isn't actually angling. It sure is, man. Carp fishing is big time, man. Europe and carp fishermen with their rigs, the one-handed cast, boom, that popped that out there pretty far. So far so good. Everything's operating well. Yeah, I wish I could be on freshwater. This just doesn't get it. It's like I might as well be fishing in mercury. You know, I'm casting, I'm getting the lure out, but don't expect much more than that. And trout will go. Yeah, there's a little fish breaking. Trout get huge. The trick to fishing big fish with an ultralight is having your drag set properly, and the drag controls the flow, the flow of the line out. Once you have a proper hook set, if you can keep from breaking the line and you stay in contact, if you stay hooked up to the fish, you can wear it out. You can land it. You can land it, even with 4 pound test. And think about it. If you're putting, let's take half of that weight because you got to set the drag safe so it never approaches 4 pounds. So you set the drag at, say, a pound. Take a 1 pound weight, 1 pound lead weight, and hook it to a fish, and that fish is going to tire out just from 1 pound of resistance on there. So that's how you do that, and you don't have to yank the fish in and break your line and ruin your chances of landing a fish of a lifetime. So yeah, so we got the notifications that Joe was going live, and technology being what it is, uh, we spent probably a third of the time listening to dead air and talking to each other in the comment section, and it was nice to see all of you over there. Joe really appreciates it. I have a fairly good time over there. It gives me something to do, and he got himself a set of good mods together. I'm glad to say that. 4 pit bulls in the toy hauler across America, whatever. Jinxie 13. There's so many in there now. Good mods. Millie Mill. Uh, excellent, excellent, excellent. And that helps keep the trolls at bay. Not in eBay, at bay. They're pretty horrible people, especially when you're talking sensitive subjects like is being discussed on Joe's site. And Joe's, uh, even though these are dark subjects, Joe's still a sensitive individual. His last site got trolled. I mean, trolled big time. And Joe and I had to talk about that First Amendment rights, and people saying, "Oh, you're blocking us." Well, you know what? You want to come and add something to the party? That's one thing. You want to come and disrupt everybody? You ain't gonna be on there too long. That's all there is to it. So don't cry. Don't cry about that. You chose to go on there. You said what you said. You printed what you printed, and then you got bumped. And like I said, some of our mods are pretty darn good. All of them. I'm sorry, right? I got to watch everything I say. I'm an ignorant old fisherman. Now I got to be an English teacher. So, and I figure, a little white thing jumping around, moving around, wiggling around out there should attract something. And it's the very front of this is made out of lead, so it tends to keep it from planing up on the water. You could add a lot more, a bigger jig head to that to get it to run deeper. But in this place, you don't want it to run too deep because the bottom is trash. It's bad. So you could either lose it to bluefish if they ever show up, or uh, you know, lose it to hanging up on the bottom. That's casting pretty well. So yeah, so I changed the bearings out on this. This got full ceramic bearings in it, high performance ceramic bearings. The drag was changed out to carbon drag, which makes the drag a lot more precise, and it doesn't crush down like other drag materials. I seen them use felt and drag grease on them, which works. It works. It works fine. It worked fine for years and years and years. But if you forget to untension your drag at the end of the day, it tends to squash those felts down flat to the point that you can't adjust them anymore. It just won't happen. So the car, I just felt that line tickling my casting thumb. So I know I'm a little loose here. Maybe I'll tighten that mag up uh, one more click and put a little more resistance on the spool. When I changed the bearings on that on in the reel, it was less resistance, which means that this can achieve higher RPMs. And higher RPMs means more distance in the cast. So I'll tighten this up one, click one. See the wind's picking up, but it's basically at my back. So that makes it a little easier. Boom. Now that's a pretty good cast. And if I was, by the canal or a reservoir and I was fishing for trout, that'd be plenty. And you could hook up with some real monsters, even crappies. Crappies will go 2 pounds. 2 pound fish on 4 pound test, boy. You're gonna feel it. And with these I believe my lines. This is I believe a copolymer. Uh, Again, you have to know a little bit to get into fishing, a little bit, but don't be afraid. Don't let that scare you. If you like it, it'll be a good journey for you to figure out plastics, lines, lures, fish species, everything. So this is ultralight fishing with a bait caster, and I wanted to put that out. So not going to catch anything here. Just here to look at the birds and thank every one of my subscribers. And again, I just learned that making that short thing. I put up one today. Run. You could use your face on there and then pick some music, and it's like 15 seconds. So I put that one up. Run. So if you see the picture, you'll run. I mean, that old man, me, is ugly as sin. My God, what one of my subscribers say? Oh, you look seasoned, like an old pork chop. I look seasoned. I laughed. Both of us laughed at that one. So I'm going to cut it off here and make this one a quick one, and make sure I thank every one of you. Make sure you stop by New Jersey Exposed. Make sure you stop by Crime Night. And please check out James Freeman. Joe was upset because he was saying it seems like nothing is getting done. That's a general statement. That's a general statement. He wasn't just talking about the case. He was talking about in general. Things just don't seem like they're getting done. Well, go to New Jersey Exposed. Go to Crime Night. Go to James Freeman's site, and you'll see that there are people, and we are just digging our heels in as far as accountability goes. Uh, so you'll see we're trying, and it's frustrating. Joe feels it. Every one of us feel it. Every single one of us feel the pressure of that. So uh, here, I'll give you a little slow turn here and all the boats. What happened to that gas shortage, huh? The government's trying to find some way to control us all the time. So I'm going to make a couple more casts, and thank yous all. So let me do this. I'll say Goodbye, folks, and I'll be talking at you later. And thanks again. Hit the thumbs up, and if you so desire, subscribe. I don't recommend it though because this is the kind of trash I come up with. So have a very, very uneventful day. Talk to you later.